The hills of Shiloh are quiet tonight. The olive groves shimmer faintly under the evening lights, and in the distance, the call of celebration echoes through the valley. A crowd has gathered, men, women, children, waving flags, holding signs, singing softly at first, then louder as the van turns the final corner toward the square. Inside that van sits Avinatan Or, thin, pale, but smiling. For the people of Shiloh, he's not just a returning resident. He's a symbol, a survivor who has come back from what many thought was impossible. It's been just over a week since Avinatan walked out of the tunnels of Gaza, where he spent nearly 2 years as a hostage, abducted from the Nova Festival during the Hamas assault of October 7th, 2023. He was one of the 240 people taken across the border that morning, a day that reshaped everything for Israel, for Gaza, and for the world watching. Now, the moment has arrived. The door opens, the crowd erupts, phones rise into the air, someone shouts his name, and Avinatan Or steps out, blinking against the afternoon sun of the West Bank. He waves, hesitates, then forms a heart with his hands, a gesture that brings a wave of emotion across the square. For a town that has seen funerals, fear, and unrelenting news of conflict, this, finally, feels like a fragment of relief. He walks toward his parents' home, where a blue and white banner stretches across the front gate. Welcome home, Avinatan. Reporters cluster to the side, their cameras following every move. Soldiers stand at the periphery, their expressions unreadable. In Shiloh, where politics and faith intertwine deeply, this return carries a weight far beyond one man's survival. Then the crowd hushes as he takes the microphone. His voice, slightly cracked but steady, cuts through the cheers. From the tunnels of Gaza, from the darkness, finally, I am here with the people of Israel in the light, says Avinatan Or, the newly freed hostage. We returned 8 days ago, me and the other hostages, and since then, we have been receiving love from all sides of the Israeli people. The words fall into the air like a release. For many in the crowd, it's the first time they've heard him speak since that day in 2023. The applause that follows isn't just noise, it's catharsis. For months, Israel lived with the faces of its captives printed on posters, plastered on buses, projected on the walls of Tel Aviv's towers. They became symbols of national pain, a reminder of how vulnerable even the safest corners had become. And yet, in this moment, one of those faces has come home alive. Standing among the crowd is Shani Strenger, a resident of Shiloh. Her eyes glisten as she watches Avinatan wave. She turns to a nearby camera crew and says softly, "It's an amazing feeling." We've all been waiting for this for 2 years, counting down the days until this moment. We're filled with excitement. 2 years, a lifetime in limbo for a community that has seen too many memorials and too few homecomings. Children who once saw Avinatan's picture in their schools are now teenagers. Families who lit candles for the hostages each Friday have finally seen one returned. And yet, even in joy, there's a quiet awareness of those who are still missing. According to Israeli officials, Hamas has so far released the remains of 15 hostages out of the 28 confirmed dead in Gaza. Behind every celebration like this one lies the unspoken grief of families still waiting for closure. The camera pans across the square, flags waving in slow motion, faces caught between tears and laughter. The music swells. In the center, Avinatan's parents hold each other tightly, their eyes never leaving their son. This homecoming isn't just about personal survival. It's a political and moral moment, a narrative of endurance for Israel, and a fragile reminder of how deep the wounds still run on both sides. For the government in Jerusalem, the release of Avinatan and 19 others last week was hailed as a breakthrough, a partial success of months of mediation involving Qatar and Egypt. But inside Israel, the debate rages on. Was the exchange enough? Did it come too late? And what price remains to be paid for those still underground? In Shiloh, none of that debate seems to matter tonight. The people dance. Young children on their fathers' shoulders wave paper flags chanting his name. Soldiers embrace civilians. Music blasts from portable speakers. For a few hours, the war, the politics, and the grief are pushed aside. Yet, beneath the celebration lies the uncomfortable reality. Shiloh itself sits in the heart of the occupied West Bank, a settlement seen by much of the world as illegal under international law. For Palestinians living in nearby villages, this same homecoming represents something entirely different, a symbol of the conflict's imbalance, where joy for one side mirrors loss for the other. Still, for those in attendance, the moment belongs to Avinatan. He speaks again briefly, thanking his rescuers, his doctors, and the soldiers who never stopped believing. His words are careful, measured, the voice of someone who has seen the inside of captivity and returned determined not to waste the light he's been given. Then he steps back, surrounded by hugs and applause. His mother places her hand on his cheek, and for the first time he lets the emotion show, a mix of exhaustion, disbelief, and something like peace. The story of Avinatan Or began in chaos at a music festival turned massacre. But here in Shiloh, it momentarily ends with harmony and the sound of singing, clapping, and laughter rising into the night sky. For Israel, this scene will be replayed endlessly on television, a moment of hope in a season of uncertainty. For his fellow former captives, it's a sign that life after captivity is possible. And for those still trapped beneath Gaza's rubble and tunnels, it's a promise that they haven't been forgotten. As the night deepens, the square begins to empty. The flags fold away, the reporters pack up their gear, and the last echo of music fades down the hillside. In the quiet, you can almost hear the wind move through the olive branches, carrying the faint sound of a crowd that for one night believed in miracles again. And somewhere inside his family home, behind shuttered windows and drawn curtains, Avinatan Or finally rests. No longer a hostage, no longer a headline, but home.
תודה לכולם, תודה. תודה רבה. איזה גבר, איזה גבר. מלך! תודה רבה לכולם, אוהב אתכם. אוהבים אותך! תודה. במנהרות בעזה, בחושך, סוף סוף אני פה עם כל עם ישראל. באור הזה חזרנו הביתה לפני 8 ימים, אני ושאר החטופים. מאותו רגע אנחנו מוצפים באהבה מכל קצוות עם ישראל.
תחושה עילאית. כולנו באמת מחכים לזה במשך 2 מחכים לרגע הזה, ליום הזה. אנחנו בהתרגשות שיא, ממש.